For my lab assignment, I visited Douglas Creek, Saanich. Let's go check it out.
Douglas Creek sits on the CSB climate zone, which is a Mediterranean climate. We see dry summers and wet winters here. Douglas Creek is a meandering creek that flows from south to north, into which it flows into the ocean. Here is where the creek begins. The Douglas Creek watershed covers 524 hectares. It is located in the district of Saanich on the southern Vancouver Island. 140 years of development has changed the watershed from forest to farm. Its present state of 5,000 properties. Much of the original stream channel of Douglas Creek and its upper tributaries were covered over as development progressed. About 1.1 kilometers of the lower stream remains. The riparian ecosystem along the stream is largely intact, and it is a fair example of the biodiversity of the coastal Douglas fir forests. This is the deepest part of the channel, or the lowest elevation, to which we call it the Thalweg. It flows around curves following a spiral path. Furthermore, it marks the natural direction of the profile of the waterway. You can see how the banks of the creek have been broken down, leaving layers of silt. This is what you call a floodplain. This happens during high periods of discharge. Here's a clip of a natural levee. It blocks the water from going where we don't want it to go. While walking along Douglas Creek, I found a little stream flowing into the main stream of Douglas Creek. This is a tributary. Tributaries do not flow directly into the sea or the ocean. Tributaries and the main stem river drain the surrounding drainage basins of the surface water and groundwater. But in this case, the water runoff is coming from Mount Douglas, from across the street. At the start of the clip, we saw a confluence. This is where two or more bodies of water or streams meet together. Usually refers to the joining of tributaries. See how the water sharply changes in the channel slope, almost like a mini waterfall? This is a nick point, although it is not a very good example of one. The developed portion of the watershed is having an ongoing impact on stream habitat. The problems are typical of urbanized watersheds everywhere. Erratic water quality due to high percentage of impervious area, degraded water quality, and diminished aquatic ecosystem biodiversity. The stream channel shows all the effects of seasonal floodwater. Eroded stream banks, a channel that is deeply incised into clay substrate, gravel loss, and a lack of large woody debris. Pollutants enter the stream as chemicals from automobiles, lawns, and driveways. Continued urbanization is having an impact on this locally important stream. A community-wide commitment is needed to preserve and restore Douglas Creek. Water flow is a function of water volume and velocity. It's important to understand because of the impact on water quality and on living organisms and habitats. Large, swiftly flowing rivers can receive pollution discharges and have little effect, whereas small streams have less capacity to dilute and degrade waste. This is why it is important to take care of our local community streams. As we know, Douglas Creek River meanders, so it is relatively flat. The summit of Mount Doug is as high as 225 meters above sea level. Here at the end of Douglas Creek, we have an alluvium, where all the deposited material ends up. It develops at lower parts of rivers, forming floodplains or deltas, but may be deposited at any point where the river overflows its banks or where velocity of a river is checked. Here we see it flows into the ocean. Overall, this assignment has taught me many of the important aspects of our local creeks. I've learned that creeks and streams provide numerous functions for plants, animals, and the overall biodiversity of an area. Furthermore, how the water is slowed and cleaned by plant intake infiltration into the soil, and other biological and chemical processes.